but I don't want to keep people here any later than I have to, but we do have some important stuff that's got to be talked about in executive session in regards to personnel matters and contract negotiations, okay?
Good morning.
Please sit right, yeah, anyway. How are you?
Hi, Sean.
Oh my God, next one. Thank you so much.
Sean, sit right there. Everybody wants you. Does everybody know Sean Graff from the paper? From the Evening Sun?
Hello, Sean.
Hi,
Those are You did a wonderful article on the daycare center. Did anybody see that? Yeah. Opportunities in this area. It was a wonderful article. Thank you.
I did have somebody ask me a question.
Yes.
Do you know if it's going to be an income-based daycare center potentially? Or have
It
they
does not have to
gotten
be,
that?
it does not have, we have not reached those stages yet, but it will be capable of being, receiving, people will have the ability to receive assistance because the place knows how to do that, but it will not be based on income only.
Thank you. Answer your question. There you go.
Oh my God.
It should serve the entire
How did
population.
I do that? Because they were all cooked together. Okay.
53 kids from infant to toddler. How cool is that?
It's a lot. Yeah.
And then if we could do one in Green Small and one in Sherburne, I mean, like, how cool would that be?
Should this be taken up?
You gotta tag.
Everyone has
Maybe
a
I'll
small
take
one.
one.
We'd love to do it if we could, literally, though, that's the kind of place,
Or
because
I did on this one.
a preferred, or somebody that already has a nurse, a cafeteria, and a groundskeeper, you got the majority of the infrastructure covered, right? That's where you gotta share those services, because it costs a ton of money to watch kids.
Right.
53 kids under one roof?
Full house, everybody's on time.
Under one roof?
Yeah.
Exciting place.
Yeah. It's a good sized building now. They won't be shut into a room of this size.
Ready when you are.
You're good. All right, we'll call to order the Chenango County IDA regular board meeting of July 19th, 2023. We will also be approving and doing some agenda items from our June meeting because we did not have a quorum at that meeting. So we'll go ahead and roll call ourselves in.
Corey here.
Zeno here. Brian, I.
Blanchard here. Raymond here.
Burton here. Our IDA mission statement, I'll go ahead and read that today. Our mission is to promote, develop, encourage, and assist in the acquiring, construction, reconstruction, improving, maintaining, equipping, and furnishing industrial, manufacturing, warehouse, commercial, agricultural, research, recreational facilities, including industrial pollution control facilities, green energy solutions, educational or cultural facilities, railroad facilities, and continuing care retirement communities to provide financial assistance and thereby advance the job opportunities, workforce development, job growth and retention, health, general prosperity, and economic welfare of the people of Chenango County, and to improve their recreation opportunities, prosperity, and standard of living. Now, we did talk real quick at one point about we need to shrink that.
Yeah, an IDA statement should be repeatable by all of us quickly. Right? So would anybody mind if I took a swag at doing that and came back with a recommendation that I looked at from other IDAs, other economic development agencies, other local development groups to try to talk about?
I'm good with that.
What is mission statement?
Everybody good with that?
Yeah, boil it down, so.
I'll take a shot at that.
Generalize it, please.
Yeah, there you go. So I'll make it so it's all encompassing and appropriate for what we want it to be. Does that make sense?
Yeah, basically every
Travel them
time
around, you're
the
gonna get
IDA
two.
has gotten involved with a different type of entity, we added it.
So if we make it general enough, we'll make it so they can be encompassing, right? So I understand what we want to do, and I think I had some examples. We went to an IDA meeting, talked about how to help with this stuff.
Sounds good. Perfect. Need a motion to approve the minutes of May 17th, 2023 regular meeting.
So moved.
Need a second?
Second.
Any discussion, omissions, or corrections? Hearing none, we'll vote.
Nobody saw that.
It's okay.
Corey abstained.
Zeno, I.
Brian, I.
Blanchard, aye. Raymond, aye.
Bert and I. Great. Financial reports of May and June, 2023. I guess we could probably skip right to June because there's not much we could do about May. At this point, hopefully everybody's had a chance to take a quick peek at those. Captain Joe, you want to speak to anything as far as the June financials go?
With transferring the money to the money market, the interest each month is around 2,100 in the money market account, so it's really good.
Great. So over a 12-month period, that's an extra $24,000
Mhm.
towards our bottom line that we did not budget for,
Right.
which is great.
Yep.
Good.
It's related, Brian, and it's listed under new business, but we can cover it now, but we've sent out the letters and communications to the delinquent pilots, so those were sent out, the final ones will be sent out today, so, standing the one for Aldridge, and the other two were mailed out yesterday.
Good. Excellent. Anything else on that, on the statement of financials or anything, Kathy Jo?
No, that is it.
Any questions on the financials?
Yeah, in May we had, under insurance expense, we had a negative 7,800 plus. It seems to have disappeared in June.
That was reimbursement
Okay.
from, I believe, is it the airport building that we sold or Cascoon?
Oh, it would have been a combination.
Yep.
Because they both happened so close together. We were paying, I want to say somewhere around $9,000 to insure, the Cascoon building and the airport building. And when we dropped those, it was like a $7,000 differential, to our insurance cost. So, yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, good question, Pete.
I'm looking over the age receivables. Is that right?
90 days for 3 different projects. Overdue.
Those are the pilots that we just sent out.
They just sent collection letters.
And Highbridge want, theirs got moved to June because it's on their anniversary dates. So, but they still haven't paid it, so we sent out,
Any response from them at all?
not that I know of.
And that, these just came up, Mike, at the last IDA meeting, that's where I became aware of it, so we put the letters out right now. We'll put a trigger in place to start about these way quicker when they're due, so.
Yeah, that hybrid, we accidentally built them in January.
Yes, and then I moved it to
And
June.
then we realized in the contract that their billing was June.
Jim, also credit it off in the
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know what the Aldridge deal is, but it seems like the county's chased them in the past for that pilot payment, so I'm not sure what's going on. But Luke said he would take care of it. Because the comment that Luke said is that every time he reaches out, the accounts payable people, and I think it's in Weedsport, New York, and they say that they never received it. So he said, email it to me and I'll make sure they do.
Okay, thanks.
And at this point, bottom line is we're better than budget by 34,000,
Yes.
which is a good place to be. Okay, need a motion to approve the financial statements from May and June.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
any discussion? Okay, we'll vote.
Corey, aye.
Zeno, I.
Brian, I.
Blanchard, aye. Raymond.
Bert, aye. Jenna, did you capture that Mike abstained from the minutes?
We have it on recording, so I'll be able to see it on
Yeah, we don't trust ourselves to keep, we don't have to. So we'll listen to them and describe them.
Okay, the checks, payments, that were sent out. The only question I had is there was a significant increase in the cost of what we paid Commerce Chenango from June to July, almost $4,000.
There are 3 payrolls in June, that's why.
Thank you. Perfect. So, okay. Any other questions on that? Need a motion to approve the bills and invoices?
So moved.
Need a second?
Second.
Great. Any discussions, corrections? Hearing none, we'll vote.
Corey, I,
You know why?
Brian, I.
Blanchard, aye. Raymond, aye.
Bert and I.
Related, Brian, to that, we are trying to control some more expenses there as well. You see that percent we thought about. We're gonna look at a new payroll company, the outsourced payroll company is expensive. We can localize that. So I think that, again, we can reduce some of these expenses going forward.
And actually, I think 10,000, that 10,000 mark where it usually is 10 to 11,000 is actually below what we calculated budget. I think we were anticipating somewhere around 12, which was a first best guess because it's a little bit of a messy calculation. So, you know, as far as our anticipation goes, Sal, not that we want you to take advantage of that, but as far as our anticipation goes, I would think that we're below where we anticipated.
I just wanted you guys to know we pay attention to it. So we do everything we can to try to, we're meeting with our computer people today. We pay attention to all of our expenses.
Any money you can save us, we're happy to.
We're doing that.
So,
Brian,
thank you.
We are 3,300 better for budget.
Yeah,
For
good.
the bills, yep.
So, excellent. Next agenda item is board member resignations. We're actually gonna skip that agenda item. We're gonna go into, executive session later and talk about personnel, okay? Executive director report, that's you, Sal?
Yeah, I can go through this pretty quickly. The annual report, I won't go through, it's posted, and you can share it with you electronically. I shared it with the members. It's really just a view of the Commerce Chenango overview and how, as the part of the IDA and the role that they played in it is covered in the page around economic development. So I can make sure all of that's emailed to all the tickets printer right now. Up at Jimmy McGinn, it's getting printed. We're gonna go into a railroad update for an executive session. Brian, you wanted to cover that in regard to the contract that we have with the railroad as well. So I will pause on that update and give you the one on US Silicon. That's the 120 East Main Street. They are moving forward. They reached out to us because they needed a local attorney. They're looking for a recommendation, so we gave them one because they said that dealing with New York to try to set themselves up here was more difficult than they thought. But that's a good sign to me. I haven't reached out to the attorney I recommended to see where they're at with that, but that is a good sign that they are going to be moving forward. Related to that, because it's over in that same section where they're developing that piece of achieve. You guys heard me talk about the story, Sean. It's not on here, but if we could move forward, that's a $5 million development that's going on in Achieve right now. If the daycare center goes, it's another $2.5 million of development, plus this US Silicon. There's a significant amount of development that could be occurring. The other one that isn't listed because it just happened, and Matt and Shane Butler are both here. We met with a company called Arcadia Energy. The next business item is on a solar pilot. I know we're gonna have some discussion on that. And the solar programs that around here have been kind of one-offs as I've been aware of them. There haven't been that many, but there's been a lot of questions. We've met with a company that talked about a joint private public partnership with the county where the county could partner with them to prescribe where solar panels would be located in the county. And in addition to that, we could keep the power here within the county. That's far too simplistic. Shane made a presentation to Jeff and Mike with the Planning and Economic Development Committee. Arcadia Energy is the name of the company. They want to come back and make a presentation in August to the PED group. And I'm telling you, I really think it has the potential to be a game changer in how the county deals with solar and the benefit that it could provide our businesses and the people that live here. So that's it, Brian. Those are some cool things that are going on. There's a lot of opportunities out there. There's some of them are related to the railroad contract and things like that, but we'll talk about those in executive session.
Any questions for Sal? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to current pilots. New York Smyrna One LLC. We did have the public hearing May. Feels like was
June.
yesterday?
Was it
June.
June, Jen?
June 5th.
June, okay, so it was early June. There was a turnout, which is nice to get community feedback at these things. There was a lot of questions from the public that did turn out. Most of them revolved, well, a lot of them, I won't say most, but a lot of them revolved around the time frame of the pilot and concern as far as how long the pilot goes out.
And the decommissioning.
And that was another huge topic, was the decommissioning of the solar panels and the space once, they're no longer useful. So we accepted that feedback. We returned answers on all their questions. We supplied them, the people that were there, Jenna gathered their information. We supplied them with copies of the pilot request, things of that nature, answers to their questions as far as timeline of the pilot. And we verified once again that they are fiscally responsible for the decommissioning of the project upon their useful, when it's no longer useful.
Excuse me, man.
Yeah.
For me, and maybe you guys all know this, and for those of you guys, I don't know if anybody else has done that before, but I had never done a public hearing like that. So Brian's describing the process of it was, because I started to answer the very first person who asked us the question. And Brian was like, that's not how this process is working. It's a prescribed process set out by the state for IDAs and how you're supposed to conduct these things. They give us the questions, we record them, send them back to say we hear them correctly, and then we send back the answers. So we did all that, and then we take any feedback from them again, right? That's how it worked. And then honestly, we had some casual conversation with them in about how they were feeling. And I think if I summarized, Brian, maybe I'm far too simplistic, but they were concerned about the length of the pilot and did it make sense, the decommissioning of it, and then was it a done deal? They were under, the people in the audience, I think, were under in the group were under the impression that it was already a signed contract with the IDA. And we were clear that that was not true. The lawyer said this is part of the process. This is exactly what you're supposed to do, and then bring it back here. The length, Jenna, tell me again what the length was.
15 years.
It's a 15-year pilot, which is within our UTEP say within 20, I think, Jenna, for our UTEP policy.
Yes.
So it's within the county's
Yes.
UTEP, there's a decommissioning bond. So that's the feedback that we wanted to provide back to them.
There was a little bit of confusion between 20 and 15
That's right.
in the wording. Mike, you were there, so you can correct me if I'm wrong, but what the feeling I got in the room was the vast majority of the constituents from Smyrna did not want the pilot to go past 15, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, they were concerned at 20 in anything longer, as we are here, right? So again, due to the lack of public participation in these public hearings, I could not answer the question if we were allowed to go back and change, if it was 20 year to 15 at that point. So it did raise some questions. What's the sense of having a public hearing if you can't go back and change anything, right? Which makes 100% sense to me. However, due to the lack of experience of having public actually show up to these public hearings, I didn't have that answer. So we got a hold of the attorney the very next day, just to make sure, it's moot to have a public hearing, in my opinion, if you can't go back and change things, right? So he assured us that we can change the contract, and it's up to them whether they want to do it or not at that point, right? So makes sense. It's good knowledge. It was growth for me. When it comes to the public hearing side of things as well, I can now answer that question. Yes, we can change things after the public hearing. So one of the things I think it is a 15-year agreement. I don't know if you want more conversation around shortening the pilot term. Again, we were able to firm up the decommissioning, that they are fiscally responsible for that, and have to have things in place to make sure that's covered. And I believe theirs was a cash bond.
I'm not sure if it was a cash bond or I thought what it was, Brian, was they have to certify that they're fiscally responsible for 10 years out. They have to show fiscal capabilities for 10 years out. But there's some different rules in there, but Jenna will be able to tell us that specifically.
It's a performance bond. Decommissioning bond is a type of performance bond, which you will know above is included in the definition of financial insurance, among other things.
The attorneys assured us that it's covered.
Yeah.
With that work.
And I can forward that email from our attorneys to everyone at the board.
Yeah, please.
Yep.
Because Mike will have to answer questions in his community. about
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'll forward it.
That's why I'm gonna ask this question. When I'm reading the language in the policy, it seems that after 10 years, they're no longer requiring that bond. Is that correct?
No, I think the way it goes, Mike, again,
I mean, it doesn't sound like it's for the life of the project.
I think the way it goes, I think every year, so if it's a 15-year project, every year they have to get certified for 10 years out from that project. We'll get the clarification from the lawyers. So every year they have to recertify that they're fiscally can handle the decommissioning of that for 10 more years, right? So even at the 15th year, they'd have to be able to demonstrate that they could decommission that for 10 years. Because the project could keep going on after that, right? It doesn't have to
So
stop.
there's an surety bond that's held for the length of the project.
That goes up, yes, I believe it goes up, yes, I believe it does. We'll get the we did it
Yeah,
again.
that's
on the
all. I
exact
think that
language.
was some of the concern.
It was.
Policy.
And we have, and Jenna and I will search for it, Mike, we have the exact response from our attorneys that we spoke.
I'm forwarding it right now.
Yeah, we'll send it out to you guys right now, which clarifies.
So
And if we want more of it, we can do that as well.
our next step on this would be fully approving the pilot at that point. I'm not comfortable necessarily doing that at this meeting. I don't know if you guys are. If there was a motion made, we could obviously vote on it. I want everybody to have clarification on that because it's a big item, which we've always been concerned with in recent projects.
After the public hearing, a lot of the documents came through. Thank you, Jenna, for sending those. That was very helpful and was distributed to people who were asking for them. I didn't find or locate a site plan or a decommissioning plan, so I emailed them to you and Jenna. So I went back and forth cross-reference and I could not find a site plan so we do have them, our lawyer did bring them in. Also in there is the decommissioning plan, which I've got some copies of, and that may be something you want to look over because that's where the specifics are.
I think, Mike, we should distribute that and then come back and talk about that at this, plus what the response was. from
Yeah, I just thought there were
lawyers.
two important documents that were not, I didn't see those in the original, so.
The
maybe
site
if they weren't
plan,
in there, but we did, remember we were talking about.
It was-
like,
it was buried in one of the documents, like on the 300th page. It was buried pretty deep
Yeah,
in
well,
there,
now it's
but
just a specific, it's a 14-page decommission plan, which I
Okay.
think is important. to
Yeah.
review.
definitely.
I mean, it's already approved, but at least you have that in your.
Everybody would like to get that, right?
I do,
assume. Yeah.
yes.
And the response from the lawyers regarding the decommissioned bond, Jenna, you'll send that to everybody as
I
well.
just did.
And then if we can have a look and discussion on that at the next meeting, we'll make it an agenda item to bring it to a vote. Is that what you guys would like to do? Mike, do you need any time to take it back for comments with Smyrna or not?
No, I think the public hearing went really well. I appreciate that it, afterwards, there was, you know some of the people there, so.
How you gonna walk
There's some
down that G4?
conversation.
Yeah, you
I think
know.
everyone left satisfied that, the information.
There was nobody that was against the project. They just had questions about the scope of the project. And we're coming to find out too, so we may have to look at our UTEP at some point on these things. Because, the original thought process was that solar panels were good for about 15 years. Well, they're finding that they're actually good for closer to 25 at this point. And, as technology changes and whatnot, that could be 30, 35, 50. When that comes up and gets to that point, we need to probably look at our UTEP policy a little.
Well, the good news is, Brian, honestly, I can tell you that we will do just like we did with this one. We'll make sure that we talk to Steve Harris and make sure that, because he's got a good broad knowledge across the state. And so ours is representative of what similar sized solar projects are around the state. So we'll, is it
And
changes?
that's down the road,
Yeah.
just food for thought.
Yeah. And if Shane gets Arcadia Energy on board and they're partnered with us, we won't have to worry because the county will have a lot more say in where these things go and how they get implemented.
The things that affects the IDA and these local laws, and Sherburne has one, like Columbus and Smyrna. Ours is new, so we don't retro something like this, we can't, but in there's a 1% fee that would go with the application based on the value of the project. And that allows the town to bring in an engineering firm to determine if these spec sheets actually have merit. You know, they're stamped by engineers and could have a second set of eyes. So the IDA would have the advantage of that expertise of engineers to review to make sure that the duration of this project is correctly stated.
Makes sense.
So we get some help there with these.
More eyes the better, right?
Yeah, the local laws help everything.
Good. Anything else on the New York Smyrna One LLC? Okay, we'll move on. Any old business? New business?
And
All right, so at this point, we do have a need to go into executive session. So I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session to talk about personnel matters and contract negotiations.
So move.
Need a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote.
Correct.
Brian, I.
Blanchard, aye. Raymond, aye.
Burton, aye.
when you stay or go, Brian?
No, you'll stay.
Okay.
Brian, do you want me to go? Because we don't technically have
Were
to
you in
take.
the meeting? You were a couple
Yeah.
weeks ago. Yeah, you can stay. Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Oh,